My name is Jessica Sanchez. I'm a shareholder at the law firm Udall-Shimway PLC in Mesa, Arizona. I am talking to you today regarding legal and strategic considerations for addressing student threats and suicidal behavior. Before we move on with the presentation, I'll just give you a little bit of information about myself. I have been practicing solely in education law since 2007. I have held positions both in private practice and as in-house counsel. So I get to see a variety of issues from the inside and outside as they facing school districts and charter schools throughout the state. So very happy to be with you today to discuss some of these considerations, especially as we see that student mental health concerns are certainly ever present and on the rise. And of course, COVID has not helped with any of these considerations. And so today's presentation is just doing a little bit of what we can. Clearly, we can't cover this topic in great detail in the hour that I have, but at least I can give you an overview. But before that, let me give you a disclaimer. The information provided in this presentation is for information purposes only, and it should not be used in place of legal advice. So please make sure that you are contacting your legal counsel for advice concerning these specific matters. And as these matters also may vary slightly from state to state, you're going to want to make sure you speak with legal counsel for any state-specific considerations. All right, moving on. Let's talk just a little bit again about an overview of what we are going to discuss today. And thank you for indulging me as I normally have an audience, and so I'm sorry that you're just listening to a one-way recording. I'm going to do the best that I can to possibly pose some questions throughout the presentation that I believe the audience might ask or usually ask when I'm discussing some of these topics. So just a brief overview for today. This presentation is just, like I said, it's a very brief scraping the surface of how school districts and charter schools might respond to threats and suicidal behaviors. Part one of the presentation is going to discuss some strategies for how schools might immediately respond to student threats of violence, either to others or threats for self-harm. Part two is going to discuss how some federal laws may apply to these situations. And moving on to our next slide. All right, part one, some strategies for responding to student threats and suicidal behavior. There is not any one specific way to address these. I'm just going to be talking about one way and one particular resource. So as the following slides demonstrate, the best response to student threats and suicidal behavior is certainly a proactive response where, number one, you create a caring and respectful environment where all students can feel welcome and safe and secure. But then in those circumstances where you do have a threat of violence, either self-harm or to others, you want to make sure that you have a plan in place to address these items when they arise. I have put one, I think, very useful resource in the materials. There are certainly others. And like I said, this is just one really good resource for strategies for responding to student threats and suicidal behavior. So the following slides come from the United States Secret Service, and they have published several resources and guides pertaining to school safety. The particular slides that I'm going to be speaking about next comes directly from the United States Secret Service, Enhancing School Safety Using a Threat Assessment Model, an operational guide for preventing targeted school violence. And I have left, the links are included in the presentation so that you can review those in their entirety. So step one, establish a multidisciplinary threat assessment team. So the team would be the people who would receive reports about concerning students and situations. The team would be then charged with gathering additional information, assessing the risk posed to the school community, and developing intervention and management strategies to mitigate any risk of harm. So the team should really be members from a variety of disciplines. So school administration, teachers, possibly coaches who have relationships with students in that extracurricular realm, maybe teachers from extracurricular clubs, mental health providers, if you have them within your school system, your school district, or your school, School resource officers, if you have available some kind of law enforcement representative who can be on the team, that would be excellent. Your school psychologists, your counselors, your social workers, special education teachers, you want to make sure you're covering a variety of disciplines so that everybody can bring a different perspective to the team and help you analyze data and address student concerns.